Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope that all of you are doing very well. And I tell you what a magnificent time of the year this is. And it's definitely the time of the year when you want to be doing well because there are so many things that we have to look forward to at this time of the year. Now, with this being the beginning of fall, here we are. Fall beginning this weekend on the date of the airing of this episode of TJ's Topics. We are walking into a brand new season. And I think I mentioned something about walking into a new season once before, but I think I was talking about something else. But we are literally walking into a new season this weekend because autumn is here. And I tell you, I'm very excited about that. And I know you are too. And first, I'd like to say thank you very much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. And I welcome you with gratitude. And I tell you what, since this is such a very beautiful time of the year, I think it's important that we learn how to be grateful for what we have and not wait until Thanksgiving to do so. Now, Thanksgiving is coming up very soon, month after next. But we don't have to wait until then to be grateful. We can be grateful right now. And that's pretty much what I'm talking about today. My topic, by the way, is whatever you're ashamed of, someone else might be proud of. Now, I'm sure that there are a lot of things that you have that you are proud of, whether it's, your job or, your career. Well, same thing, basically. Or, you're proud of your nice vehicle that you drive or the home that you have, or perhaps you're proud of all of the accolades that you've won throughout your life. But there are those out there who are ashamed of what they have or ashamed of the fact that they don't have certain things, and I was one of those people once where I was ashamed of not having certain things when I thought I should have had them. And then there were people who made me feel ashamed. Like I'm gonna give you a prime example. And I hate to always, it seemed like I'm always having to refer back to something that went on in church in the past. But since I spent so much of my life in church, I can go back and get some of the best examples of things that I have been through simply by remembering some of the bad moments that I experienced amongst those church people. Now, we're talking about being ashamed of certain things that you have or don't have, and others might be proud of having those things. Well, something that I had that I wasn't necessarily proud of, but I wasn't ashamed of either, was the car that I was driving back in my 20s. It was a 1985 Ford Escort that my mother had given me after she got her something else to drive. And I drove that car all the way from when I was in college up to when I first started working in the school district in 2008. So I drove that car for about 10 years. However, there were a lot of people who tried to make me feel bad about the car that I was driving. Now, mind you, I was appreciative of it because, my mama didn't have to give it to me. She could have sold it or done anything she wanted with it, but she gave it to me. And I was very grateful for that. But there were those who felt like I should have had better. Now, I want you to know this. They felt like I should have had better, but none of them reached out to me to try to help me do better. Meaning that they didn't give me any money to go make a down payment on a new car. They didn't take me to any car dealerships and let me look at any new cars and stuff. They certainly didn't offer to buy it for me. But they laughed at and talked about the car that I had. And it was paid for. And at the time, it was running good. Had a few little things here and there, but overall, it did what it was supposed to do. And a lot of the folks who talked about my car were those who lived loud. They were in church with me. And every time we came out after service, I'm heading to my car, getting ready to go home. They asked me, Taryn, when you gonna get you a new car? Cause I remember when your mama was driving that car. Now, here you are driving it. When you gonna go try to find you something else? I said, well, I'm gonna get me something one day. I don't know when, but as long as this car is getting me where I need to go, I'm not concerned about it. Ow. That's what they were saying. Now, it really bothered me when people did me like that. And they asked me a whole bunch of other questions. Another question that they asked me was when I was going to get married. They always stayed on me about my marital status. Well, when you going to get married and all that kind of stuff. Now, a lot of them had wives or had husbands and stuff. They had been married for decades. But based on what I saw, it really didn't seem like they were too happy in their marriages. In fact, I think some of them probably overstayed their welcome in their marriages, because it's like every time you turn around, they were arguing, they were fussing and fighting and stuff. Not physically fighting, but they were always going at each other about little petty stuff. But then they'll be the first ones to talk about, we've been married for 35 years. We've been together for almost 40 years. So you mean to tell me that you've been going through 35 or 40 years of hell? Because that's basically what it was. I mean, staying together just for the sake of, because you had children, you stayed together for their sake, and now they're grown and gone out the house, but you're still together because y'all want the bragging rights. I mean, now that to me doesn't seem like anything to be proud of. To me, that seems like something to be ashamed of, because why would you want to put up with that kind of crap anyway? Why would anybody want to put up with something like that? Why would anybody want to subject themselves to circumstances that they actually do have control over? I just don't understand why they want to do that. But, that's the way people are sometimes. They just simply don't want anything more out of life. They don't want to do better for themselves. And they have the ability to do better, but they simply refuse to. They don't want to elevate. They don't want to go higher. They don't want to come out from among the people that they have been surrounded by for the majority of their lives in order to reach a greater level of success. All because they're so concerned about what someone is going to say and what someone is going to think. But if those people were really concerned about their well-being, they would reach out to them and try to help them to, climb the ladder and do better. But see, that's that crab mentality. And see, crabs are always reaching up trying to pull the other crab back down in the bucket. They don't want to see one escape. They want them to stay right there where they are. That's how people operate. And nobody in that bucket is proud of the situation they're in. But they don't want anyone else to get the urge to escape. They want them to stay right there. And to me, it seems like, whereas they may not be proud of their situation, they're most definitely not ashamed of it either, because they're not doing anything to try to get out of it. So they're happy. I mean, in a sense, they may not really be happy per se, but they're not too disappointed and too upset about it to want to make a change. Because see, when you get upset and when you get angry enough and disappointed enough about your predicament, you're going to start trying to make some kind of changes. They may be small changes, maybe little baby steps, like my auntie told me. Take baby steps, but they will do something in order to try to strive for something different and something better than what they've been dealing with their whole lives. So let me ask you this right quick before I go. Do you have anything that you're ashamed of in your life? Whether it's a material thing or emotional issues or spiritual, financial. A lot of people are dealing with financial issues and they're ashamed. They're ashamed of being broke and ashamed of being, bankrupt, having to file for bankruptcy and having all those credit card bills. And I've been there and I was very ashamed of myself for that. Now, I was proud of myself when I was able to go and spend and shop and buy whatever I wanted to and swipe that card and, draw money off the card, riding around in my nice gold car that I had at the time. I was proud then. But when all that came tumbling down and I ended up being more than $13,000 in debt, oh man, I was deeply ashamed. I was heartbroken. Oh my God, I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. But I found a way to get out of it. And I'm glad I did. And hopefully you'll find a way to get out of your situation too, so that you will no longer be ashamed, but you will begin to be proud. And others might be proud of you too. And if they're not proud of you, then hell with them. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Whatever you're ashamed of, someone else might be proud of. But I don't think anyone else would be proud of going through hell and high water like you going through, if that's what you're going through. They might be ashamed themselves. And some people are so envious of others until they feel like if they can steal what you got, take it away from you and claim it for themselves, then that'll be a blessing from God. But they're a fool to believe that, because that's not a blessing. That's theft. So anyway, I'm gonna just end it right here, and I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of TJ's Topics, and I tell you, I'm just so happy that we have made it to the season of autumn. I tell you, fall is here, and I am so grateful for that. We're coming to the end of September, getting ready to head into October with the pumpkins. And how y'all like my orange that I have on, representing fall, with the shirt and the vest? Because it's time for us to bring out our nice fall attire. So be looking for more of that in the weeks to come. This is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. Happy fall, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.